Ravi sat on the edge of the riverbank, his shoes submerged in the cold, murky water. The city skyline reflected off the rippling surface, fractured and flickering like the fragmented pieces of his own life. He had grown up surrounded by noise sirens, shouting, the endless rhythm of people's expectations, but none of it matched the clamor that lived inside him. Since childhood, Ravi had been the quiet observer, the one who processed life silently, internalizing pain rather than expressing it. He had learned early that speaking out only invited judgment, ridicule, or disappointment. School was a maze of comparisons, teachers' low expectations, and classmates' cruelty. By the time he reached adulthood, Ravi had built invisible walls around himself, insulating his thoughts, his failures, and his fears. Work as a software engineer was a safe cocoon. Algorithms were predictable, logic was fair, and results were measurable. Yet the safety brought its own suffocating monotony. Each day he stared at screens of numbers and lines of code, achieving efficiency but never fulfillment. Success felt hollow. Recognition felt temporary. He had colleagues who admired him, bosses who praised him, yet Ravi felt a persistent emptiness gnawing from inside. The turning point came one rainy evening, when a minor project glitch at work escalated into a near crisis. His boss berated him in front of the team, his words sharp and unforgiving. Ravi felt the old sensations rise, panic, shame, inadequacy, but this time, instead of shutting down entirely, he walked out. The streets were slick with rain, neon reflections shimmering like fractured memories. Without thinking, he followed the river, letting the water guide him, letting the movement outside mirror something he could not yet articulate inside. Over the next weeks, Ravi experimented with reclaiming his life through action. He joined a rowing club, initially just to get out of the apartment and move, but he discovered the rhythm of the oars, the resistance of water, and the teamwork involved became an unexpected form of therapy. The river didn't judge, it simply responded. The effort required focus, precision, and surrender to the current. In rowing, he found an outlet for frustration and fear, and an arena where small victories were tangible and self-earned. Ravi also began exploring photography, drawn to rivers, bridges, and cityscapes during early mornings when the world was still half asleep. Framing a shot, adjusting light and shadow, capturing fleeting moments of beauty, it allowed him to control what he could in a world that often felt uncontrollable. Through the lens, he discovered fragments of his own perspective that had been buried for years. Friendship became another arena of subtle discovery. He connected with a coworker over shared walks, gradually opening up through conversations about books, movies, and music, rather than his own inner turmoil. The connection wasn't instantaneous, nor was it perfect, but it offered Ravi something unfamiliar, companionship without obligation and understanding that existed without needing to fix him. Yet the river, the photography, the companionship, while grounding, didn't erase the deeper currents of fear and self-doubt. Some nights he would wake drenched in sweat, memories of childhood bullying, unspoken regrets, and professional missteps flooding his mind. The safety of action couldn't fully protect him from the silent currents that ran beneath his daily life. A particularly tense moment arrived during a weekend rowing session. As Ravi guided his boat through a narrow, shadowed channel, a sudden surge of current pulled it sideways. For a split second he panicked, gripping the oars too tightly, nearly tipping over. His heart raced, and for a moment he felt the old helplessness wash over him. But he steadied himself, recalibrated, and pushed forward. The river demanded focus, presence, and adaptation, a mirror to his internal struggle. Ravi also took up learning the guitar, an instrument he had abandoned as a child due to ridicule. Strumming chords in his apartment, fingers stiff and sore, he experienced small triumphs, a progression learned, a melody played, a song completed. Music became a private celebration of his ability to persist despite years of internalized discouragement. But peace remained partial. Ravi's apartment still felt confining at times. His workday still brought invisible pressure, and the shadow of self-criticism never fully lifted. Even amidst rowing and photography, the silent currents of doubt lingered, reminding him that progress was a series of small steps rather than a complete resolution. The chapter closes with Ravi sitting on the riverbank again, mist rising from the water, the city lights reflecting fractured and flickering. He takes a deep breath, lets the oars rest beside him, and watches the current carry fallen leaves downstream. The movement is constant, unstoppable, much like the tension in his own life. Ravi's journey is ongoing. The choices he makes rowing, photographing, learning, connecting offer him agency and glimpses of relief, but the undercurrent of uncertainty remains. For in the end, we are humans after all,